Welcome back to Steen Family Outdoors. Today we're going to take a look at two 7mm cartridges that have completely shaken up the hunting industry with the 7 PRC and 28 Nosler. We're going to take a look at the backgrounds of both the cartridges, the similarities and differences between them, and then ultimately come back and help talk through how you can make a decision on which of these cartridges is right for you. So let's start right away with the 28 Nosler. The 28 Nosler has been out since 2015 and traces its parent case back to the 300 Remington Ultra Magnum, which has its lineage back to the 404 Jeffrey. So this is a large capacity, large Magnum cartridge that is really based around pushing traditional 7mm hunting bullets fast. So it's got a 1 in 9 barrel twist and it's set up around that 140 to 160 grain bullet, and it's a fantastic burner of a cartridge. The 7 PRC can trace its lineage back to the 375 Ruger. Both of these cartridges by Hornady, and the 7 PRC or precision rifle cartridge is one of 3 Hornadys came out with between the 7, 6.5, and 300 PRC in recent years. And the 7 PRC is built with a 1 in 8 barrel twist, and the whole purpose of the 7 PRC is to optimize the cartridge around long for caliber or heavy for caliber, so those bullets are longer, bullets with higher ballistic coefficients for downrange wind deflection and just overall bullet efficiency over long shots. So that's a quick snapshot of the two cartridges. They are also, though, to start with, are very, very similar cartridges. So both of these cartridges are standard length Magnum. So they're coming in with about a 3.340 inch overall length. So that's, we call it standard length Magnum. Bolt faces, the 28 Nosler is at 0.534 inch, while the 7 PRC is at 0.532 inches. So we're talking 0.02 of an inch different in case head diameter. So rather negligible. Both shouldn't need any major bolt modifications to go back and forth between the cartridges. And they're both pushing a 7mm bullet. So an awful lot in common between those cartridges, which is the point of us talking today and asking this question, which one should I really be looking at? So let's talk about the differences between them. The first one is case capacity, and I'm holding the 28 Nosler in my hand, and we'll zoom in and take a look at them. The 28 Nosler from a cartridge size is significantly bigger. And we'll take a look and pull up the data really quick that will support this. This comes from Nosler, just giving you a quick snapshot of the case capacities. So the 28 Nosler is holding 91 grains of water compared to the 75.4 grains of water capacity in the 7 PRC case. So we're not filling these cases with water, obviously, but this is a standard measurement that helps us see the difference in capacity. And the 28 Nosler carries almost 20% more capacity of powder versus the 7 PRC. And that's why when you look at the back of ammunition boxes or you look at reloading guides, the 28 Nosler is consistently pushing its bullets significantly faster than the 7 PRC. So that's difference number one. The 28 Nosler has a significant case capacity difference. Difference number two is our barrel twist. The barrel twist on the 7 PRC is set standard at 1 in 8, while the barrel twist on the 28 Nosler is set at 1 in 9. So barrel twist is all about stabilizing the bullet in flight. So when that bullet is fired, it shoots down the barrel, and the rifling twist actually will spin the bullet so that once it leaves, the bullet is stable during flight. If your barrel isn't twisted fast enough, you understabilize and you can lose accuracy downrange. So having too slow of a twist, so 1 in 9 is a slower twist than 1 in 8. So if we have too slow of a twist, as we get heavier and heavier in bullets, we start to lose the ability to get enough spin on the bullet to stabilize it downrange. At the same time, if we have too fast of a barrel twist, it starts to highlight sometimes the instability in bullets, and especially depending on the bullet manufacturer, this really can get brought to light. So if you're in like targeted or jacketed bullets is where it's most common to see these issues come up, and the bullet can actually fragment from being overspun in those barrels. Where you tend to see the least impact from overstabilizing or twisting the bullet too fast comes from your copper bullets. So I'm shooting a hammer bullet, my 28 Nosler, and you can push that bullet very fast and twist it very fast, and those bullets don't really have an issue with being overstabilized. So the big difference here, the 7 PRC has a faster barrel twist because it's designed for shooting longer bullets or heavier bullets in the 7mm range than the 28 Nosler is. So our first difference we talked about, 20% more case capacity in the 28 Nosler. The second difference, the 7 PRC has a faster barrel twist to shoot long bullets for caliber. The third difference, when we take a look at these cases and come in close, is that the 7 PRC case is actually quite a bit shorter. Not the cartridge, but the case, so the brass, is shorter than our 28 Nosler. So why does this matter? It's because the entire bullet of the 7 PRC, or the cartridge itself, is designed around that long for caliber bullet. So when we seat a very long bullet into a more traditional hunting case like our 28 Nosler, when it seats in, it actually needs to take powder capacity because the case itself is longer. So to seat that bullet in, a long bullet starts to eat into powder capacity. We start to seat that bullet past the shoulder. On the 7 PRC, when we seat that bullet, we just get the base of that bullet just into the shoulder and just past the shoulder. So we're preserving all of that powder capacity for the 7 PRC with the longer bullet. So you can see it's designed to be shot with these long for caliber bullets. And it starts to highlight the weakness when you shoot standard weight bullets. You need to actually seat them deeper so your cartridge overall length will drop below the 3.340 inch, because you have to seat that bullet at least to the shoulder so you get good neck tension. Where on the 28 Nosler, when you seat those shorter bullets, you're not eating into its powder capacity, and it really starts to shine because it has that huge powder column of 20% bigger than the PRC to push even faster. So that's why you see the 28 Nosler traditionally gets loaded, like you see a lot of 160 grain AccuBonds or 160 grain ballistic tips. Nosler loads it, or sorry, Hornady loads it with their 162 grain ELDX because it's maximizing that case's capability. And then when you put the slower barrel twist on it, that again highlights things even further. So those are the three differences. We have case capacity, it's bigger in the 28 Nosler. We have barrel twist, we're shooting a faster barrel twist with the 7 PRC, and the case length of the PRC is shorter because it's there to accommodate those long for caliber bullets while not losing any of its powder capacity. So why does this matter, and which ones should you think about choosing? Well, first off, if I'm thinking about choosing, there's 4 criteria we're going to talk about. The first one's bullet selection. I talked about this a little bit already. If you are looking at shooting high BC bullets past 175 grains and up, that tends to be the dividing line when you look at velocities. You're still getting better velocity with the 28 Nosler at its standard load length, but you're starting to see that delta between them close. So if you're looking at 175 grain plus bullet in that 7mm cartridge, the 7 PRC's efficiency will start to stand out, and then the barrel twist of the rifle will start to make it a much more attractive cartridge if you are looking at a factory off-the-shelf rifle. If you're looking at shooting more traditional hunting bullets or all copper bullets, so think about your AccuBonds, your Nosler partitions, your Swift A-frames, your Swift Sirocco's, maybe you're going into the Hornady CX line and getting sub 160 grains in those, or if you're looking at hammer bullets, Barnes bullets, their traditional TTSX, the 28 Nosler is going to push those fast and hard and going to be a great hunting round in those applications. So that's the first spot where you start to see some differences in where these cartridges shine. The second is an application. If you are looking for one rifle that you're going to do target shooting with, you're going to do hunting with, it's going to be maybe your one hunting rifle. It's really hard, hunting and target rifle. It's really hard to beat the 7 PRC in that case. It's not pushing velocities to an out of control area where they're very, very high. They're still high velocities, but they're not getting into that very overbore spots you'll see the 28 Nosler get to. So you get great velocity, which should lead to fairly good barrel life, where if you're using your 28 Nosler as your one rifle, you want to target shoot with it, you want to hunt with it, it's your one rifle, barrel life can become a concern when you're pushing these fast velocities in a really overbore magnum like the 28 Nosler. Third one, let's talk recoil really quick. If you're shooting similar bullet weights, especially let's talk like shooting a 175 grain bullet out of both of these rifles with close to max loads, you're going to get pretty good recoil from both. You'll see 28 foot-pounds of recoil on the 7 PRC and about 33 foot-pounds of recoil coming out of the 28 Nosler. So both of these are going to be pushing recoil fairly significant. If you start to lower the bullet weight on the 28 Nosler, you'll start to lower its recoil as well. So for all intents and purposes, they're a toss-up in recoil. Both are going to hit you pretty good. You can do some things like make your rifle a little heavier if you're recoil sensitive. You can talk about muzzle brakes or suppressors to help out as well. But both will provide some stout recoil from either application, and just is going to depend on which one maybe sticks out to you from the other criteria. But recoil gets talked about a lot, and these two are so close in recoil, I don't know if it's ultimately going to be very significant for you. The fourth one is ammunition availability. Now, the 7 PRC is new on the scene, and one thing Hornady does incredibly well, maybe better than any other company, is when they come out with a cartridge, they have the ammunition, the reloading components, the dies, everything to support it. So if you are someone who buys off-the-shelf ammunition, I think either one of these are going to be fairly similar. 7 PRC's a little more economical. Looking at some of the prices that have come out recently, so we're here, it's March of 2024. 28 Nosler off-the-shelf ammo, especially if you're looking at the trophy grade Nosler ammo, is very, very expensive. I mean, it's over $100 a box now. Hornady supports their cartridges with very affordable ammunition for the most part, which makes it to be a very attractive round to get into. If you're hand loading, you'll spend a little bit more on powder with your 28 Nosler, but your bullets are the same price. The brass will be similarly priced. You may see some slightly less brass life with the 28 Nosler just because of the velocity and the amount of powder that's getting pushed through it. But all in all, if you are looking at factory ammunition, I would lean towards the 7 PRC. In this case, if you're hand loading, again, you've got the luxury of this being a toss-up. So which rifle is right, or which rifle cartridge is the right one for you? That's going to be up for you to decide based on the criteria. Let me know in the comments below. For me, it's the 28 Nosler. I love the velocity out of this. I love shooting the all copper bullets and getting speed on it. I have a video out there on my 28 Nosler build that I use, and I'm a huge fan of it. But if you're someone who's in the market for maybe their first rifle, or even if you don't have a 7mm in your lineup today and you're looking at something that's versatile, has great availability, that you can find a factory rifle for, I would take the 7 PRC up in a heartbeat. One of the things we didn't talk about is the world of custom rifles, and what Hornady did with the 7 PRC is essentially take a custom rifle approach for long range shooting and commercialize it, which is really cool. And it's great to see a company that takes charge like that, as Hornady has. The 28 Nosler does let you do some similar things. You know, as a case, if you were going to build a custom rifle, there's no reason that you can't have a longer throated rifle that you can shoot long, heavy for caliber bullets without encroaching in the powder column. Maybe extend your cartridge overall length a little bit. There's a lot of things that you can do if you're a custom rifle person, but that comes with cost. and you're making your own ammo almost exclusively at that point. So let me know what you think. Which rifle would you go with? I think we're really fortunate as hunters to have these choices and selections. So can't wait to hear your thoughts. And until next time, get out there and enjoy the outdoors.